Well, good morning, my friends on Empower the Body to Fight Cancer Naturally. I just thought it was time for me to address the issue of water. The MARI protocol is a 3-step protocol, as many of you know. The first step is to avoid toxins. Second step is to help your body remove toxins. And third step is to give your body all the tools it needs to empower it to fight any kind of chronic disease. So, this is part of step 1, avoiding toxins, and one of the areas that we get toxins is from our water. If you live, as I do, in the UK or in the US, you're in a country that fluoridates its water, and avoiding fluoride, among other toxins, is particularly important. Fluoride is a neurotoxin and a serious carcinogenic. So, it's not the only toxin. There's many other toxins within our water, and we need to avoid those toxins. So the first thing that we need to do with our water, there's a lot of talk about alkaline water and so on, and there's some arguments for that. But before we even look at that, the first step is pure water. We want water without toxins. Now, there's many different types of water filter that remove toxins, but the best by far for removing toxins is distillation. That is, if you don't know what a distiller is, it basically boils the water, collects the steam and turns that steam back into water. And all scientific labs across the world, if they need pure water, they use some form of distillation. They don't use carbon filters. They might finish the water with a carbon filter, but they don't use carbon filters. They don't use RO. Nothing else. They all use distillation, because distillation is the best way of removing toxins. Okay, so it does. All distillers have a carbon finish. Well, not all distillers. There might be some that don't, but most distillers that you can get hold of would have a carbon filter just to finish it off. Now, what I personally do, there's 2 types of toxins in terms of dealing with a distiller. The first type is a type of toxin which has a higher boiling point than water. Now, those toxins are very easy to remove through distillation, because the water is going to be made from steam, and therefore the toxins will not carry into the steam and therefore into your new water. So that gets rid of all of those, which is the majority. The second type of toxin is a toxin with a lower boiling point than water. Now, the carbon filter will help to deal with those, but what I personally do and recommend others with a distiller is, before I put my water into a distiller, I will boil it, thus removing all the toxins with a lower boiling point than water, because as I'm boiling it, the steam is going off and taking away the toxins with a lower boiling point that a distiller doesn't now have to deal with. So I will pre-boil my water, I will put that water into my distiller, and then distill it to remove all of the toxins with a higher boiling point than water. So that is about as effective as a normal person, without spending huge amounts of money, is ever going to get. A distiller will cost in the UK about £130. In the US, you can get them for under $200, and then they will make water to order as you need it directly from your tap or faucet if you're American. Now, the possible problem with distilled water that people sometimes go on about is the fact that it's so effective at removing things from water that it also removes all the minerals, and that's a fair point. So the best thing to do after you've distilled the water is to remineralize it. Now, I personally use 2 things to remineralize it, which are minerals that are organic, plant-based minerals, which are the easiest types of minerals for the body to absorb. They're much, much smaller than inorganic ones. And the products I use are Ionite and Agualite. I have my bottles here. So this is the Ionite, and I will use this, and I also will use Agualite. That's this here, and it's like a little tea bag, and you drop it in the water, and it remineralizes and restructures the water. If you don't know what restructuring is, it's something worth looking into, but basically it makes the water wetter. It enables the water to get into places that regular water doesn't get into. So, Agualite, Ionite will remineralise your water. There's other ways. I sometimes use Himalayan pink salt, especially if it's going to be water that I use for cooking. That's an inorganic form of mineral. Your body can use it, but not as effectively. But it'll certainly stop your food having minerals leached out of it. So I use that for cooking. I use the two that I've just shown you for drinking. There are other things that you can use as well, but you need to find something. So hopefully that covers the very basics of what to do with water. Very, very important. Don't think you can use bottled water. Bottled water is just as bad as tap water, has just as many chemicals in it. It leaches all kinds of xenoestrogens and all kinds of rubbish from the plastic. Even if it's BPA-free plastic, it's still bad, bad, bad. Do not use bottled water thinking that you're getting great water. You're not. Okay, you need a distiller. Oh, and by the way, when you get a distiller, if you get a distiller, make sure that you get one with a glass container to catch the water in. Don't get one of the ones with a plastic one. Don't care if it's BPA free. Don't get plastic, get glass. Okay, hope that helped. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.